Hi, it's me again, Amber. Haven't made a video in a really long time. I made some this past summer. I think I posted one, then took it down. They were all very personal, and all the videos I'd been making were very, very personal, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to post them or not. But, the last couple days, I've noticed on some of the Facebook communities I'm in, and just an observation of my own behavior was I've seen a lot of people say, how do you meet other pagans or Wiccans in your community? How do you make friends? How do you know there are other pagans or Wiccans or just general alternative spiritual people in your community? My TV is really loud. I have to turn that down. Oh my god. Oh my god, it's so loud.
I would never even get close to a place like this.
How can my kids sleep through this?
Any idea where you should take him? You're not hurt or anything, right?
Listen, we've got to find a place to hide until this is over.
I see my totally messy house. Oh well. I'm a mom of 3. A 5-year-old, a 4-year-old, a 2-year-old. That's reality. But anyways, I've been seeing this about how, how do you meet people who are pagan in your community, or what do you do? And what did I do? I made a Facebook community. But over the years, what I had done, and this is what I always do, I realized this just yesterday. My town had our annual Christmas parade, and everyone comes out and watches the parade. And when I'm out in public, I like to look at people. I'm a people watcher. And what I do is I observe. I mean, it sounds like horrible stereotypes, but observe how people observe. Did I say that right? I see how people are dressed. I look at their tattoos they have and jewelry they may be wearing, and you can get a lot of clues by that. Now, is that a great way to make a new friend? I don't know, but it is a good way to be reassured that there are other people in your community or where you live who have similar spiritual beliefs. Like I went to this Christmas parade and I saw at least 2 to 3 people wearing pentagrams. I didn't know who they were. And I think I saw a lady with a pendant that was like a tree of life, but it was also like a triple glottis symbol, with the moon and the crescent moons. Yeah. But it had like a tree of life in the middle. It's pretty cool. Yeah, that's one way. And when I was younger, I had people come up to me because I was wearing my pentagram. And even in my 20s, I had people come up to me because of me wearing my pentagram. And they would, say marry me or ask questions or just be happy. You could just tell they would acknowledge. They'd say, I like your necklace. And it was acknowledgement. It was acknowledgement saying, I know what that means. You're not alone. But that's a good way to meet people. That can break the awkwardness. But do look at what those people do as you meet people. What are they into? And not everyone's going to be outright. Not everyone's going to be just like, hey, I'm pagan. Not everyone's going to be like that. Even if they are openly pagan, they still might not they're not going to they're not going to necessarily start a conversation about their spiritual belief the first time they meet you. But, maybe you'll get to know them and you get to meet somebody new, and you'll find that maybe you both have similar interests in yoga or energy work, or a big one, do you both like tea? It's really interesting how many people can bond over just liking tea, or talk about zodiac signs. That's always a good one. People who are really, really fascinated by Native American culture. That's a good cue. I mean, depending on where you go, you're going to find more so of one thing than the other. Right now where I live, it's pretty amazing. I'm sorry, I'm just looking at my own face and making stupid faces now. It's pretty amazing, the change in my community. There's always been a underlying kind of metaphysical, dirty hippie kind of world in the area that I live in. There always has been. But as an adult, you can like see it now and you know where to look. But also, I mean, if you don't know where to look, you don't know where to look. And when you do know where to look, you can look. You know, it's like that whole you don't know what you don't know. But if you learn symbols, learning symbols are really, like different symbols helps you identify who may be at least in the same ballpark of like how your spirituality is, or if they might be interested in witchcraft, or, you know, and you might not find people who are exactly like you, but you know, you can find people at least in the same playing field, the same kind of energy alignment, you know. Me, I like Native American stuff, and I have interest in shamanism and different aspects, but that's not fully my thing. But, you know, I get along and I feel like I have a good base level, what is the word I'm looking for? It's late. But what am I trying to say? Damn Mercury retrograde. Okay, what I'm trying to say is, you know, just because someone's path is not quite the same as yours doesn't mean you can't get along with them. There are still things that you can find in common with them on a similar spiritual level, you know. And you're not always going to find another Wiccan, or you're not always going to find another particular, like, spiritual belief you have. You and another person might not have the exact same spiritual belief. I'm listening to my neighbors. I got totally, like, sidetracked. But yeah, I mean, how to meet new people. You have to put yourself out, you have to get out of your comfort zone. That's a big one. It seems like a lot of people who are, have alternative religions and spiritual practices often have a lot of anxiety, and they can be really scared. And I mean, social media is a really great way to find people. There are a lot more Facebook communities for various pagan religions than you'd ever think. There's very large groups, and then there are smaller groups that are broken up by state and by town. Many of them are closed groups, but if you see it's a town near you, you can ask to join. And if they have questions, answer the questions. Answer them. But social media is a really easy way. I mean, I have a community I have a Facebook community for my particular town and for the nearby towns and states that are near me. And I'm also a member of larger communities, and anytime I see anyone do a shout out of like, hey, I'm from this area, anybody else from this area, if they're close to me, I will let them know, you know, hey, here's some of the local communities. Yeah, it can be hard though to get people together. I have learned this. Over the last year, it's been about a year, I've really got out of my comfort zone and have been putting myself out there to try to give my community what they want and what they ask for. And even when you do that, even if someone gives a suggestion or they say, oh, could we do this? Those people aren't necessarily going to come to the event if you put it together. It can be very hard. A lot of people say that they want to have companionship and like a spiritual community, but they don't necessarily want to put the work into it, or they'll find every imaginable excuse to not come out. And I know there's like a fear to it. I know there is a fear. And I recently, with the last event I held, this was the first time I actually had someone who has a business actually host us. You know, she let us use her space free of charge, which is like that. Like when I think about it, when I actually think about it, I was like, oh my gosh. I seriously had someone host an event for me. Like they offered their public space. Said, here, you can use it for free. Like, that blows my mind. I can't even imagine. I can't even explain it. But whatever the case is, that particular person, she's not even pagan. Not even pagan. And I'm still very shy around her because I'm new. We don't know each other very, very well. But, like, she's not pagan, and she had a bad experience with paganism. And she was like, I'm probably not going to participate in the event, but you can use the space. And I was like, thank you. I mean, what else can you say? But, I mean, I know some people have bad experiences with paganism, just like people have bad experiences with Christianity or bad experiences with any other number of spiritual beliefs. And it just makes me sad that, that some people, don't represent a spiritual path well, or they have alternative motives, or they're trying to do something for themselves, or people aren't taking the right precautions to make sure everyone is safe. So it can be difficult even getting, like I said, a lot of people might say they want to be in a group, they want to have a community, they want to practice with others, but when it comes down to it, it can be really hard. It can be really hard. But yeah, I don't know if this video made any sense. I'm all over the place. But as I had said, when I go out, I always look at people's tattoos, look at people's jewelry, see how they're dressed. Or when I go to certain places, sometimes you can get a conversation with just a complete stranger when you go to a store. If you're going to a natural food store, or there are metaphysical shops in places. Even small towns have them, or they might have witchy corners. Check your local flea markets where they have vendors. There's often witchy corners. I remember when I was a teenager, we had a really big antique mall flea market in a neighboring town, and they had a huge witchy corner. Oh my gosh. It was mostly just like jewelry and statues. Oh, yeah. But if you see someone with obvious things like a pentagram or a triple goddess, but also look for things like Celtic knots, knotwork. Well, that person might not necessarily be pagan, but they might be more open-minded to such things. So that even if you might not be able to practice your spirituality with them, but you may still be able to get along with them. Yeah, you can't be picky. It's one of these things I feel like if you're really looking for spiritual family and you live in a small town that does not have an organized temple or an organized coven that is open for the public to find easily, you can't be really, really picky. You gotta see what you can find and and be open-minded. I don't know if this was any help. I have no clue. But yeah. There it is. A 15-minute long ramble about attempting to make friends and meet people you don't know that are in the pagan community. Social media. Scout out the crowds when you're in town. And be brave and go up and talk to people. Oh my God, you gotta go up and talk to people. Face to face. You know what you do? You go, I really like your necklace. What does that mean to you? Are you wicked? I love your triple goddess symbol. Wow, I love your Celtic knots. That tattoo is amazing. You want to see mine? You want to do this? You know, we should hang out sometime. Let's go get some coffee. Yeah, I know that's totally easier said than done, huh? Okay. Yeah. I don't know if this is any help. I don't know if I made any sense. I haven't made a video in like months. Mercury's in retrograde. I'm going through therapy, and so I'm just woohoo. My anxiety's been real bad lately. It's been bad. But I still managed to get out of the house. Didn't shower. Look at that. Grease ball. But I got out of the house. And I got stuff done. And you can too. One thing to add. And this is, I don't know if this has anything to do with the video or not. But for me in my path, I go by a simple thing. If I don't represent myself, no one else will. And you'll find that in the act of letting people see you for who you are in your own spiritual path, in your own spiritual belief, and just being unashamedly yourself, other people will be that way as well. And when you put that out, it will be attracted back. And it can be a really, really wonderful thing. You just can't be scared. And it's scary, I know. But you got to work on it. Hiding in the broom closet. Hiding in the broom closet doesn't do anything good for you. I mean, how can people treat you the way you want to be treated when you're old, or care for your children the way you want your children to be cared for, if you don't let those people know that, you know, this is what I believe and we don't want this put in here. You gotta make it known. When you're ready. But it helps. Because if you're not out of the broom closet, you're not going to have an easy time finding people who aren't out of the broom closet to hang out with. Who are out of the broom closet to hang out with, or whatever. And you'll find that there are a lot more people than you'd think. A lot more people in your town. Who have similar beliefs. They can be people you've known since elementary school. They can be people who you didn't know were like that at all. They can be family. Yeah. That was a really interesting one. When I made my Facebook page, my Facebook community, I had people coming out of the woodwork. And then there was some people like I would see their personal page and I'm like, are they? I don't know. I think so. And like, you just read the little signs, you know, just the thought process, and you're like, I think they might be a little witchy, or I think they might be a little pagan. Oh, maybe they're pantheists. You know, they might be posting things about herbs, or they might be posting things about empathy, and there's a lot in your town, and you don't even know it. Places are conservative. Some places are. I get it. I live in a conservative town. I live in a part of Pennsylvania that is part of the Northern Bible Belt. And we've got a thriving witch community and a thriving alternative spiritual community in the area. It's there, you just gotta look. You'll find it. You'll find those people you're looking for. I'm still rambling. Dang it. Okay, I'm gonna go and post this ridiculously long video that I just sound like a crazy lady with.